Comic book review time, and today we're going to be taking a look at the first issue of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new comic book review. And just in time, a month before the release of Monarch, the TV series set within the Monsterverse, DC, Warner Brothers, have treated us to this new mini-series of the Justice League, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, et al., facing off against Godzilla and King Kong, set within the Monsterverse universe. So this issue here, we're going to take a look at it. I have read it, and we're going to give you a breakdown. I'll give you my thoughts on it. So let's get into it. So here we have it. Now there are multiple covers available for this comic. This is the standard cover, which is a wraparound cover. So it's a picture that forms the front and back together. So you open it up and you're given that big spread of the Justice League fighting both Godzilla and King Kong in what is arguably a fantastic looking image. Front and center is obviously Godzilla. You have the Batwing there, you have Wonder Woman there, and you have Superman up the top corner. And it is from Legendary Comics. So Legendary and DC. Legendary are the company that produce the Monsterverse movies. Owned by Warner Brothers, as is DC. So we're going to get into this one and take a look. So, first pages. So we start off with a dinner between Lois and Superman atop of the Daily Planet building, where Superman is about to propose to Lois. And then things are interrupted by the arrival of Godzilla. We then jump back 12 hours, where you have the Justice League up on their base, which is up in space. A big satellite kind of thing, space station, and they're talking about Superman and his heroics and his upcoming marriage to, or proposal to, Lois Lane. And they know that he's working overtime because he's going to take a bit of time off, etc. And Superman's fighting Titano, who's a giant gorilla with who can shoot Kryptonian laser beams out of his eyes, but he takes him down single-handedly. And then he gets into a conversation with the Flash and Green Lantern about his situation with Lois, their thoughts on it. So a lot of melodrama, and they take him to Stryker's Island, Titano, to be locked up. Diana is happy for Superman, Clark. And then we jump to the Legion of Doom, where we have a load of the villains, and they're talking about why it is that they can never bring the Justice League down and what they can do to do it. Lex Luthor comes into the fray to say to them that he has got a plan, and he then embarks on a trip with all of them and takes them to the Fortress of Solitude, where they get inside and he wants to steal two items. He wants to steal a mother box, and another item as well, this sled thing. Now, with the mother box, he plans to use it to trap the heroes in the Phantom Zone. But while they're there, the Toyman takes this red crystal. It sets off an alarm that Superman hears whilst he's got Bruce Wayne visiting him, talking to him again about his potential relationship, marriage with Lois, and what the dangers of it could be. Where he's about to go off, he hears the alarm ringing in the Fortress of Solitude. He's about to go off, but he's told to stay behind, and Supergirl and the rest of the Justice League go there and take on the Legion of Doom. Whilst they are having this battle, the sled is got by the Flash, but But the mother box gets destroyed, and lo and behold, the villains all end up being transported to none other than Skull Island. Clark and Lois. We then catch up with Clark and Lois, and they're about to go on their lunch, and things intertwine. We see the villains on Skull Island in the forest. They know that there's other things, creatures there, that you'll recognise from the films. King Kong jumps in and sort of rescues them. Grodd, the gorilla from The Flash, wants to converse with King Kong, and the Toyman comes up with a plan to utilise these monsters to take down the Justice League. And then we catch up to where we were with this dinner on top of the Daily Planet, where Clark is about to propose, only to get interrupted by Lois. And we come back to the point at the beginning of the comic where Godzilla appears, and Superman heads off with a smile on his face because Lois says she loves him, to face off against Godzilla. And that is the end of issue 1. So, thoughts on this issue? Number 1, I think that the art is very good in it. I like the art. Christian Deuce is the artist, with Luis Guerrero as the colorist. The comic is written by Brian Buccellato, who, to be honest, I can't tell you anything that he's written because I'm not that clued up on stuff anymore in the comic book world. But as first issues go, it was an enjoyable first issue. I think some of the writing, though, is very sort of in your face. It's sort of like all the heroes are very, very nice, and you've got the villains arguing about, in a childish manner almost, of how the Justice League keep beating them, and it might be because they're such good friends and that's how they do it. And the writing there is a bit sort of on the nose, a bit very sort of childish, whimsy, shall we say. But the idea of facing off the Justice League against Godzilla and Kong and that is a fantastic idea, because Warner Brother, DC, you know, they're all under one umbrella, they're all one company, so why hasn't this been thought about before? I don't know. Like I said, I do like the art within the comic. It's very colourful, it's striking. I can't fault DC, they generally get good artists on their comics. Marvel don't so much, and yeah, and I mean, we're given that nice splash page there with Superman heading into Godzilla that we know from the MonsterVerse movies. Fantastic image. All in all, a really good read, and yeah, I'm there for the miniseries. I don't know how many issues it is, probably 6 or something like that, I guess. I'll be there for it. There's a closer look at the back of the cover. Obviously, you've got a Green Lantern, a female Green Lantern there. You've got Hawk Girl, fighting off against Kong, obviously. And then you have Wonder Woman, Batman in there, and Superman. It is very sort of female heavy-centric there as the cover goes, I'll be honest. Don't know what the choice is of that. I don't know who the female Green Lantern is, I'll be honest. Obviously, you got one of the male Green Lanterns inside. Hal Jordan, I believe, is it? Obviously, the other thing I can mention about this comic is I remember in 1994 or wherever it was, 95, when Superman married Lois then. And I know that DC keeps rebooting and resetting the timelines. So, for me, I've got a lot of memory of that. So it's kind of like retreading old ground in that sense. But it's a fun read. It's a good read, good art. You know, the story's fine. It's just some of the writing is a bit questionable when the characters are talking amongst themselves. But other than that, brilliant. Okay, folks, so there we go. Quick breakdown and my thoughts on issue 1 of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Yes. Nice wraparound cover on it. Enjoyable.